You ever notice how some managers seem to stay stuck at the same level for years, sometimes decades? Same conversations, same problems, same team drama. Maybe it's just they have different faces. And they'll tell you that they've got experience. But what they really have is 1 year of experience repeated 10 times. Now, before you start thinking, yeah, that's my boss, let's be honest. This could just as easily be you. Not because you're lazy or not because you're clueless, but because growth as a leader doesn't just happen. It's not automatic. You see, a lot of managers think that time equals development. Like if they just clock enough hours that they're going to magically become better. But time only teaches you if you're paying attention. And most managers, we're not. We're just surviving the day. We're reacting, we're firefighting, we're trying to keep the team from falling apart. And in all that chaos, we forget to actually lead ourselves. That's the trap. That's why many managers just don't grow. They're busy, they're overwhelmed, but they're not learning. And here's the part that stings. You can be highly competent and still completely stagnant. You can be the go-to person for solving problems, but still have no clue how to grow past them. Because solving problems and growing as a leader are two different skills. Growth comes from reflection. It comes from uncomfortable feedback. It comes from seeing your own patterns and actually changing them. But that's hard to do when your day is just one big loop of, just gotta get through this. And let's be real for a second. Most managers don't actually have a growth plan. They've got goals, yeah, but goals aren't growth. A goal is hit this target. Growth is become this kind of leader who can hit any target. And these are totally different games. The first thing that keeps managers from growing is the belief that leadership is something that you earn once, like a badge, instead of something that you build constantly, consistently. If you're not intentionally upgrading your habits, your awareness, your expectations, then your leadership muscles are getting weaker while you're busy doing your job. So let's talk about how we can avoid that. The managers who actually grow, they do one thing differently. They study themselves. Not in a weird like self-help way, but in a real, practical way. They notice what triggers them. They pay attention to the moments they avoid hard conversations. They look at how they make decisions when they're tired or under pressure, because that's where real growth happens. In the moments, the ones you'd rather ignore. And many people, many managers don't want to do that. They're going to blame the company. They're going to blame the team, blame the workload. But the ones who grow, they take responsibility for the part that they can control themselves. Now, quick second. If you actually want to practice this kind of growth, not just nod along with it, that's exactly what we do inside the Better Boss Club. It's where we take everything I talk about here on these videos, communication, accountability, building trust, and we turn it into real repeatable systems that you can use at work. The doors aren't open just yet, but in the description, click on the link to join the waitlist so that you're the first to know when the door is open. And that way, when the next round starts, you're not watching from the sidelines. You're in the club. Okay. The second reason most managers never grow, they stop getting feedback that actually challenges them. When you first start managing, everybody's watching you. You get coaching, you get feedback, you get corrected. Not always in the best of ways, but you're getting some type of feedback. But once you've been around for a while, nobody tells you anything. Your boss assumes you've got it handled. Your team doesn't want to upset you. And your peers, they're too busy fighting their own battles. So you end up leading in a feedback vacuum. And without feedback, there's no growth. You start believing your own version of how things are going. And that version is usually optimistic at worst. So if you want to keep growing, you've got to hunt down feedback. Ask for it, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Because that discomfort, that's the gym where leadership actually gets built. And here's the other layer of this. Growth isn't just about fixing what's wrong. It's about expanding what's right. Too many managers only reflect when things go badly. But there's real growth in learning from moments that you nailed it too. What worked? Why did it work? Can you repeat it? You've got to start thinking like an athlete. You don't just play the game. You watch the tape, you review the patterns, you get smarter about your own moves. And if you're not doing that, you're not growing. You're just playing. So, yeah, the secret isn't about doing more, it's about being more aware of what you're already doing. That's what separates a manager who evolves from one who just barely survives. And if you're sitting there thinking, man, I think I've been stuck for a while, that's okay. Growth starts the moment that we stop pretending we've got it all figured out. So ask yourself, when was the last time you got real feedback? When was the last time you really looked at your own habits instead of your team's habits? When's the last time you actually worked on your leadership and not just your workload? Because here's the truth. No one is coming to do it for you. No one's going to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, it's time you level up. That's your job now. And if you're serious about it, if you want to actually grow instead of just talking about growing, then I want you to listen. The Better Boss Club is opening up soon. And if you want weekly leadership challenges, that challenge. If you want live coaching access to me and a community that actually supports you, this is where it happens. It's real managers, real conversation, real growth that you can see in your team. So get on the wait list now, because the managers who keep growing are the ones who don't wait. And that being said, let's end this video. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.